What's up guys, ESO here, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, you will not be surprised to hear that Skyrim has many locations to visit, from the busy streets of Whiterun to where to find the secret friendly giant, all the way to the dark depths of Blackreach. But some of these locations, even after 7 years of playing the game, are most definitely not what they may first seem the first time you visit them. In fact, some of the locations we're going to be looking at today are not even marked on your maps as locations at all. Like the first location I'm about to show you guys, that can't even be unlocked with console commands. Very strange. Starting out with our first location, on the island of Solstheim, there are actually 4 hidden peaks that you'll only know about if somebody has either told you or you really like to climb mountains for literally no reason at all. The game doesn't indicate there's anything up there to find. But what's really strange is that these peaks, which are actually discoverable locations with map markers, cannot be discovered by using console commands. Typing in TMM1 into the console will reveal all map markers in the entire game except for the 4 hidden peaks of Solstheim Island. So there is only one way to discover these map markers. You must conquer the 4 peaks of Solstheim yourself by jumping repeatedly up the face of the mountain until you eventually summit the top of the world. Only then will Skyrim reward you with the map marker of victory. But seriously, reaching the top of these mountains is not easy. There's even a discussion on the wiki about how best to reach the top of some of these peaks, with some players resorting to using horses and then sacrificing said horse to the gods once they reach the top, just watching it smash down the side of the mountain face in bloody glory. There are 4 peaks to discover in total: Mortarag Peak, Frykite Peak, and Hittaud Peak. Mount Mosring, the highest peak of the 4, and my god is it the worst peak to climb. You literally almost reach the top at one point, and there's part of the wall you can clip through, which will then result in you falling through the mountain to your death. This happened once to me, and then I just cheated my way to the top because What is the point of this though, I hear you ask? Bragging rights, of course. You have not completed the game until you have conquered every mountain. Aside from that, I guess you can fast travel back to them and appreciate the view every now and again. It's kind of nice, right? Kind of. That brings me on to our second location. Well, it's not even marked on the map as a location, but it's here on the top right corner of the island of Solstheim. There's basically some smaller islands that border the shore here. Looking from the shoreline, they really don't look that interesting at all, unless again, you're the type of person who just wants to make that treacherous swim out to them and see what's going on there, if anything. Many of the islands around Solstheim have nothing going on at all, they're just blank rocks. Apart from this one specifically, on the furthest island from the shore, you will find a giant nirnroot, as in the extremely rare plant, and this is not the first time we've seen a giant nirnroot. A few of them actually existed in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, 4 to be exact, and they were considered something of an Easter egg. But it's actually really strange that nirnroot should be growing at all here in the first place, this close to the Red Mountain. The nirnroot plant became almost extinct after the Red Mountain's explosion, which pretty much blotted out the sky with ash, making most plants that rely on photosynthesis die out in and around Morrowind. So the plant really shouldn't be here in the first place, yet here it is, twice the size of a normal nirnroot. Indeed, we're not the first people who came here and were interested in this. You'll find a Dunmer alchemist's boat just here on the shoreline. Clearly he's been visiting the island for research purposes each day, to try and figure out what's going on here as well. Unfortunately for him, he seems to have figured out what's going on in the most horrific manner possible, because he was killed by the native Spriggan that have made this island their home. Whether or not the Spriggan have anything to do with the nirnroot's inflation remains to be seen, but they almost certainly have. Spriggan are known for nurturing and healing the local wildlife around them, and in fact, they are also notorious for guarding nirnroot and attacking anything that comes into their sacred sanctuary, including this alchemist who unfortunately did just that. Oh sorry, what's that? You want a nice happy story for a change? Well sorry, this is Skyrim and there are no happy stories. If you want happy, don't subscribe and press that bell icon for notifications about my upcoming depressing sad stories of Skyrim videos that you won't like at all. Okay, I'll tell you a nice story. Giants are magnificent creatures that roam the plains of Whiterun, herding their mammoths. Indeed, they have the most beautiful, harmonic relationship. One could not exist without the other. I could delve into a deep story about the lore and details of this beautiful relationship, but I want to tell you one story, which you'll discover if you come here to the hot springs north of the Reach, a rather charming location full of warm geysers and hot springs. This is actually where giants bring their mammoths to die, a mammoth graveyard. Look around you and you will see various bones and giant skulls of mammoths littering this area more than any other location in the game. So it seems that once these giant creatures reach their end, they will be herded on a pilgrimage, a final journey to the mammoth graveyard to live out their last days in the hot water springs of Skyrim until they pass away in the waters. In fact, if you look carefully, you will find one giant who has made this final pilgrimage mourning his mammoth who has just now peacefully passed away into the spring. A truly heartfelt moment to capture the friendship of a mammoth and a giant. The giant will stand there mourning his lost friend deep into the night, peacefully standing, just waiting. In fact, the giant is currently so upset, so consumed by sorrow, that you can walk right up to him and stand next to him. He will look down at you with his big blue eyes glistening with tears. I imagine if you had Skyrim in VR, this would be quite the experience indeed. So I stood there for a time, listening to the giant's deep breathing as we both watched on to his resting friend. One of the most beautiful moments I think I've ever had in Skyrim. But finally, to round out our 5 secret and unmarked locations in Skyrim, we have a much darker twist to this mammoth story. This location is found southeast from Lorenza's farm. Again, an unmarked location on the map, and you'll see why it's unmarked in a moment. Once you arrive, you will be greeted by a pit littered with mammoth skeletons. Most disturbingly of all, there is a fresh mammoth corpse sitting in a dugout ravine. Standing over their prey are 2 poachers. In fact, these are the only 2 known poachers in the entire game who hunt mammoths for a living. Now these 2 poachers are leveled between 1 and 25, and they can be fearsome in combat, as you'd expect for 2 men who have just killed a mammoth. If you draw too close to the freshly killed mammoth, they will draw their weapons and warn you not to come any closer.
That's close enough.
If you come closer still, they will attack to protect their kill. Clearly, what's been happening here is the poachers are luring mammoths into the hills behind where the giants herd them into their killing pit in order to trap it and kill the mammoth, giving them nowhere to run. I cannot say I'm surprised, since mammoth tusk fetches a very pretty penny if sold to the right merchant of Whiterun. Judging by all the skeletons, this has clearly been going on for a while. But of course, I, White Knight ESO, shall put a stop to it. Die! And that is that. So, that was another 5 secret unmarked locations in Skyrim and their stories. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. You can check out the playlist below if you did, and please, in the standard begging of any YouTuber, give this video a like if it was worth your time, And yeah, subscribe, press the bell icon if you enjoyed it. I'm also doing some fun mod videos that I think are a new refreshing way to play the game. So you can check out that playlist if you want something a little bit quirky, spicy and different. But I'll see you in the next one, guys. So have a fantastic day and goodbye.